Last time on Out Chasing Stars, we made a mad dash across one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, the Singapore Straits. It was a fairly daunting adventure, but we formed a plan and executed it to perfection. The clearance into Singapore was quick and easy, and Starry Horizons got a berth next to some fancy yachts as we played tourist, picked up Amy's cousin Sarah, and got ready for the next leg of our journey. Standing at the helm, that must mean we're moving again.
You're on the move.
So we've enjoyed Singapore?
A lot.
Yeah, it's been a good city, huh?
The marina was really nice.
So where are we going to now?
Well, we're passing this bizarre looking thing and headed out to clear out in the quarantine area, and then we are headed to Puteri Marina, which is on the Malaysia side of
whatever river that is.
Yeah, Johor, I think, is the area. Yeah. So, we'll be in Malaysia in just a few hours.
Craziness.
Yeah. First I gotta get through this current and this exit.
Amy handled that current like a pro, and then it was off to the quarantine zone, where the departure process was just as fast as the clear-in. To get over to Puteri, we had to make our way through lots of anchored ships, and after spending all our time at sea giving them a wide berth, it felt quite odd to get so up close and personal. Going up here, babe?
We're hustling.
Hustle, hustle?
Yeah, I mean, we got out of Singapore as soon as we could, and we're trying to get to Puteri and clear in today, and we need to be there by 4:30. So we're just pedal to the metal.
Yeah, both engines are on. We never do that.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna make it.
Yeah, I'd like to give ourselves a little bit of cushion time just in case, paperwork clearance. Who knows how long that takes.
Yeah, and there's not much in Puteri, so we don't really have an interest in spending that much time there. I think most people stay there because they want a cheap place to stay before they go hang out in Singapore. So.
And we've done Singapore, so time to go north.
Yeah.
Puteri for us was just an easy spot to clear into Malaysia, but we had to get through one of my least favorite obstacles first. You picked up a stowaway. Just kidding, Sarah. You're welcome. That's a bridge up in front of us, isn't it?
It is 25 meters, so...
Mast height of around 20, we should fit okay.
Squeak on through.
Yeah. Welcome to Malaysia, huh?
Yeah.
No, plenty of room.
See, it's like so close, it's terrifying.
Looks like we made it.
It's always nerve-wracking.
Oh, it's not my favorite thing to do ever.
Nope.
Well done, Admiral.
Thank you.
The marina was only 4 miles up the Straits of Johor, and once we arrived, we quickly took care of all the necessities when clearing into a new country.
Well, we've been in Malaysia about 20 hours. We are in Puteri Harbor, and let's see, we said hello to a lot of our Indonesian rally friends, and we cleared in, and we got a SIM card.
ATM was broken, though.
The ATM was broken. But that pretty much accomplished everything we wanted to do. So now we're taking off, and we're not really sure where our next destination is. It's going to be a lot of motoring. But we'd like to stop in Penang and then in Langkawi.
Yeah, final destination Langkawi. See how we're doing. Current,
Yes.
wind, all those things out there.
Yes, but we've got Sarah with us. She's ready to roll.
Sarah's ready to. Oh yeah, that's definitely ready right there.
Rock and roll.
So yeah, let's fire it up and get moving.
I like the sound of that. We are well past all of the anchored ships now and truly out into the Malacca Straits. There is still an amazing amount of traffic out here. We've been fortunate so far. We've got the current going with us. As Amy mentioned a little earlier, we're not 100% sure what our kind of route plan is going to be for this part. We need to be up in Langkawi in a few days, so that's basically all we know. Kind of gonna judge based on current, based on winds, kind of how many other stops we can make along the way. I've been very pleasantly surprised that we've had a knot and a half of current with us for a while now, so that's moving pretty good. And we'll just kind of like game plan to stay on the side of the shipping channel away from the shore, because I have already seen lots of different nets and stuff like that out there, and I would like to avoid running into those. So out here we just have to worry about the big ships. They're all on AIS, so we can see them. Just got to avoid the fishing nets. Fishing vessels in Southeast Asia don't seem to have any problem dropping nets where sailboats might run over them. But I was counting on those fishing boats being less willing to tangle with the big ships. A bit like running to your bigger sibling to get away from a bully, but you know what? It worked. We are well into day 2 of our trip up the Malacca Straits. It's going relatively well so far. Hasn't been a whole lot of wind, but it has roughly shifted behind us, so we are getting a chance to do a little bit of motor sailing. Still sticking right to the edge of the shipping channel, which I think is definitely the right call here. We've got some friends who are trying to sail a little bit further inshore and reporting all kinds of fishing traps and stuff like that. So being out with the big boys is nice because we've got the AIS, so we can see them, they can see us, and avoiding the fishing traps, so that's working out quite well. We did have a very early morning huge squall that just nailed us and shifted wind all the way around, and that was a little bumpy and uncomfortable, but other than that, we've actually got a little bit of blue sky out here. Not too bad. And a tug passing us, going the wrong way down the side of the channel. So those are the one guys we've got to keep an eye out for out here, apparently. It is really fascinating to me how the current kind of plays through the straits here. So we were a little nervous because people for the last few months in Indonesia have been talking about the currents in the straits, how it could be up to like 2 knots against you. Well, we haven't had 2 knots against us yet, but right now we've got 2 knots with us. So that does make me a little worried that we might eventually get the 2 knots against us, but I'll take the boost while we can get it. The other interesting thing that's happening right now is we just kind of passed like a designated crossing zone. There's a pretty big port off to our starboard side, a couple of big ships kind of crossing and trying to get into the channel headed north, and it looks like a slight little traffic jam over there as 3 ships try to get in a very small spot. I know that these ships were probably calling each other on a designated channel for use in the straits, but man did it look like they were coming close. Fortunately, we didn't hear any loud crashes, and everyone on our boat stayed pretty chill. We were doing a great job of avoiding the fishing boats, but what I was worried about was all the trash in the water. It was pretty horrific just watching a constant stream of crap flowing by the boat. I was having flashbacks to the time we sailed through the Pacific garbage patch on SV Julia and got stuck. Turns out, I was worried for a good reason.
You look wet.
Yeah, so we heard a noise and we're like jumpy at every single little thing that's wrong here. And Amy was awesome on watch, heard it, pulled the engine in neutral,
It turns out there was definitely a plastic bag on the prop, so I had to jump in. The rope cutter did its job. This thing was all cut up. It was just kind of like wrapped around it, so I needed to get it off and bring it up so we can throw it away. 10 million pieces of trash out here, but at least we're getting one out of the water.
Staying on the side of the shipping channel had worked exactly as I'd intended, but passing the 1 Fathom Bank lighthouse meant we were once again in open water, and I quickly had to add fishing vessels back to my list of things to worry about. We are well and truly out of the shipping channel now. We are into, I believe it's the Bay of Bengal. The big thing for right now, there's a huge squid fishing fleet kind of up off our starboard side. We've had to divert quite a bit to get around it. There are just green lights dotting the horizon, and it actually kind of almost looks like it's a city out here because it is reflecting off the clouds. It's kind of wild, but you know, we can at least see them, because a little earlier there was a squall came through and that was very difficult to see, so I'm glad that cleared up. The other thing we have to do is keep an eye out for all the cargo ships that are heading in towards the shipping lanes, but those guys are on AIS, so that's still easy. I think the plan currently is we're going to try to make our way straight up into Langkawi. The current has been cooperating way more than I thought it would, so we'll be able to continue straight there. If we don't slow down, we'll have just one more night left. If we were to try to go into Pangaea, we'd have to slow down quite a bit so that we could arrive still after one more night. So I'd rather just keep on going, arrive to our final destination, and that way we don't have to worry about any more weird wind shifts. Deciding to skip Penang was a tough call because Amy really wanted to visit. The schedule and conditions just didn't work out in our favor this time. Morale on the boat was a bit low, but a visit from some dolphins fixed that real quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that's so cute. I love this.
First dolphins on the boat, isn't it?
Huh? Yeah.
First dolphins, I think.
First dolphins.
Yay! That's always a good sign for passage. Time for a midday update on our last day at sea out here. Apparently had a little more excitement. A big squall came through and Amy and Sarah actually saw a water spout. That's not so good. And yeah, we've been seeing still a ton of fishing boats and a bunch of like white buoys, and I could not figure out what they were for the longest time. I couldn't tell if they were just like nets that were out here or exactly what was the story, but I have finally figured it out. It appears they're actually like mooring buoys, and all the fishing boats come up and tie up to these things. So it's in one respect a grudging admittal that's pretty genius that, you know, you're in 150 feet of water out here, so you know, a nice spot to moor for the night, put your lights on, fish for this damn squid. But annoying as a sailor trying to figure out how to avoid all these things. During the day it's easy enough, we can see them. It's really easy when the fishing boats are tied up to them because they're still on radar, but without anything on them, tough to really find them. So it's this kind of reminds me of sailing in Indonesia, where we had to worry about those fishing fads all night. Here, I guess this is what we have to worry about, these little mooring buoys. But at least here, you know, they're not nets, so nice and small. The odds of hitting them hopefully are pretty small. We'll just kind of do our best, make it up to Langkawi probably really early tomorrow, and then I'll breathe a sigh of relief that we've made another successful passage. I know the expression is waves never come out on video, kind of hoping the opposite, that no waves actually come out on video. It is so amazingly calm out here right now. I'm quite certain that we've been in anchorages that have been more rolly than this right here. If it wasn't about 150 feet deep below us, I'd say, let's just drop the hook and sleep here for the night and get moving in the morning. But it is, I think there's like 1 to 2 knots of true wind right now, so it's just incredibly calm. It makes for a very easy motor, especially when we've got the current behind us. So, you know, I'll take it. You know, we're burning less diesel than I thought. It's always kind of nice. We did turn on the air conditioning this afternoon because it was blazing hot without the wind. We had to make water, so that was the excuse I'm giving myself. But yeah, it's much more comfortable inside at the moment.
It may have been comfortable inside, but there's still one tradition that brings everyone outside.
It's sunset time.
Sunset time.
Aww.
Ice cream time for
What-
Sarah.
Ice cream time and sunset time, it doesn't get much better than that.
It's true.
One of the best parts of the day in the boat, huh? Not so hot anymore.
It's so pleasant at sunset.
Now just hope those clouds and rain stay away tonight.
Yeah.
Final sunrise at sea time, which is a good thing because that's Langkawi right behind me. We were doing so much better in terms of our speed than I was expecting that we actually got about 10 miles offshore about 2 a.m. So we've just kind of been bobbing out here and whatnot, waiting through that wicked thunderstorm, which was kind of nasty. The sun is just now peeking up. Just kind of waiting for that to rise up high enough that we'll be able to actually kind of see our way in. The anchorage I've got in mind has got a bit of a tricky, narrow passage through some rocks to get to, so I'd like to see where we're going to get through that. All right, crew, I'm going to interrupt you from taking pictures. Tell me what was your best part of the passage. We made it.
That's for the passage.
The ice cream.
Oh yeah, sunset ice cream. It's hard to
Sunset
beat.
ice creams, always memorable, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
And how about this spot in Langkawi, huh?
Holy crap, it's gorgeous.
Got a lot of good wildlife.
Yes, we were spotting monkeys and kingfishers and sea eagles,
And gross
And-
water monitors.
gross water monitors. Sarah's
Not
not
your
going to
favorite
swim.
though, huh, Sarah?
Ugh, ew.
Fair enough. Hey, well, we made it to Langkawi.
We
Well
did.
done.
The landscape is stunning.
We'd come into a spot known as the Fjords, and it truly was one of the most picturesque anchorages we've ever been to. Since we arrived in Langkawi ahead of schedule, we had a few days to decompress and relax. Then it was time to head up to the main island for one last adventure at the night markets before we had to say goodbye to Sarah, who had to go back to work in Kuala Lumpur.
Sarah, why is it so early in the morning right now?
I have to go to work.
Oh, that's a boo.
What is that view, man?
Taking a jet plane, I like it.
Hey y'all, thank you for watching our motor up the Malacca Straits, might be the most accurate way to put it. The winds in this part of the world are kind of tricky. Like, they can very easily turn against you coming from the north down the straits, occasionally from the south, but sometimes it's just dead. And I chose dead is better than against us, so we just decided to motor for it. Plus, it was nice to show Sarah a little bit of the passage life in calmer weather, shall we say. And our reward at the end was Langkawi, which was super nice, and we had even more guests coming soon. So make sure you stick around, check that out. We will see y'all next time.